Without a doubt, the number one question that I get asked by HR leaders and people and culture leaders is, okay, but how do we get executive buy-in for these initiatives? And I think that speaks to a real challenge that we face in the people and culture and the HR space, because we're so passionate about the people and about the thriving and flourishing of the people in our organizations that sometimes we're not the best at crafting persuasive messages that resonate with decision makers. So in this video, I'm going to show you a strategy that you can use to make your communication more persuasive and hopefully get buy-in for those initiatives that matter most to you. Hi there, welcome to People Ops Problems. I'm LeAnne Lagasse, and today we're talking about executive buy-in. But because I have just a lot of things that I want to say about executive buy-in that I think would really help you, I decided to create this video in 3 parts. And so today is part 1. So what are some ways that we as HR leaders, as people and culture leaders, can secure executive buy-in? Now, sadly, there is not a perfect formula for this. I wish there were, but there isn't. What we can do is use a tried and true decision-making process to really I think improve the chances that the messages that we send to executive leaders, to those internal stakeholders, really resonate with them. And so today's part 1, let's jump in. So the first step in securing executive buy-in as an HR, as a people, as a culture leader is to analyze your audience. Now, you probably heard that and thought, yeah, I know that as a communicator, it's important for us to analyze the audience. But in my experience, this is the step that is overlooked and really just underrated when it comes to crafting pitches and trying to deliver persuasive messages. So what are some of the questions that we should be asking ourselves when we are analyzing our audiences? So I actually recommend that when you're working through a pitch, you're trying to develop that persuasive appeal or that persuasive argument, that you write these out and work through them, right? Think critically about the answers to these questions. So I'm going to share a couple of questions with you, and hopefully they're going to be a great resource for you as you think about getting executive buy-in. So, okay, the first question that I really want you to ask is, what is the current landscape of my organization? Because I have found that a lot of leaders who are thinking about making pitches haven't taken the time to really dig and figure out what is going on organizationally that is going to impact the way that those internal stakeholders, those decision makers, how they think about this proposal that I'm making. So I recommend that when you're thinking about the landscape of the organization, that you actually take time to go, okay, what are our organization's strategic priorities? And how can I link this initiative to those strategic priorities? Because if I can do that in a pitch meeting, I am much further along in the persuasive process than most, right? Another question that you can ask is, okay, how are we performing currently as it relates to those strategic priorities or those, our mission, our vision, our values? How are we performing? Are we aligned? Because let's say, for example, one of your initiatives that you're very passionate about and you're really hoping to get buy-in for has to do with the expression of one of your company's core values. If you're able to show them even better by numbers or data how there's misalignment present there, you're going to be much more compelling and persuasive. So how are we performing with respect to our strategic priorities? What resources do we currently have in our organization that are helping us achieve those strategic outcomes or their goals? Are there gaps? Can I speak to that in this pitch or in this proposal? Okay, what resources are we lacking? So similar thinking, right? It's so important, I think, as an HR leader, as a people and culture leader, to take the time to get to know other kind of stakeholders' positions in your organization. What are the accounting department thinking about? What is the marketing department thinking about? What is, research thinking about, right? What are our executive team members thinking about? So really trying to get a sense of what is the landscape in the organization is going to put you ahead of the curve, I promise. The other thing I would say on this one, another question is, who can help me get more context? Who can I go to and maybe buy coffee or buy lunch or even just have a 15 or 20-minute meeting, check in to ask about the state of their department, the state of their team, what issues they're facing, what are our financial, how are we performing financially at the moment? So I will, when I'm coaching leaders, HR leaders, and they're thinking about pitching an idea, I will, as homework, sort of require them to go speak to the CFO or go speak to someone who can really give a lot of context about the financial performance of the organization, to think through how they make financial decisions. This is a huge way to gain insight that will then later help you craft a persuasive message that is just much more compelling. So then similarly, another question you can ask yourself is, okay, well, who are the decision makers in my organization? What are their priorities and motivations? How are they assessed in their role, right? How are they evaluated? What does success look like? I'm telling you, actually write this out. Okay, if you're pitching to, a CEO and a CFO and a COO, actually take the time to go, what motivates each one of these individuals when it comes to their job, their responsibilities, the outcomes that they need? What keeps them up at night? What are their pain points? What are their problems, right? So at this point, we're not even thinking about how we're gonna craft the message. We are just doing research. We are just doing audience analysis. Put yourself in their shoes. What are they thinking about? What matters to them? What problems are they trying to solve, right? What keeps them up at night? How is success defined in their role? We touched on that already. How can we as HR leaders, as business leaders, close the gap for them and help them see that these initiatives that we're proposing are actually going to lead to very positive outcomes for them as well, right? What do I know about this unique person that could be helpful? So this one is gonna, your ability to answer this question is gonna vary depending, of course, on the size of your organization, the scope of your organization, but hopefully you know at least something about the uniqueness of this individual. When I'm working with leaders, a lot of the organizations I work with are strengths-based, and so what I mean by that is that we use a Clifton Strengths assessment to help us understand one another and communicate with one another more effectively. So I will often ask those leaders as they're doing this audience analysis piece, hey, tell me, what is this person's strengths? What are their motivations? What matters to them? If you will actually take the time to write out those kind of things, it's going to produce so much fruit for you when you're actually pitching that persuasive argument. And then of course, what is their communication style? Are they the kind of person that really values research and data? Are they a person that really makes decisions based on intuition and passion and just kind of their gut feeling about something? What do you know about them as a unique individual that can help you prepare for this pitch, right? So here's the thing. Once you've done this audience analysis, then the question really becomes, how can I connect my idea to what I know about the organization and what I know about this person as a unique individual, or these people as unique individuals, right? Because if I come in hot with my latest and greatest idea, but I'm not doing the legwork to really show and to demonstrate how this connects to our business objectives and the outcomes we need and the outcomes that those internal stakeholders have in their unique roles, my pitch is very likely going to fall flat. The difference between a good speaker and a phenomenal communicator or persuader is right here in the area of audience analysis. So this first step, right, in this 3-part series is all about doing the audience analysis. Don't skip over it. It's so important. So I hope that those questions can give you sort of a launch pad into some research, into discovery about your unique organization. And there you have it. That is step 1 of 3, so stay tuned, for how to gain executive buy-in for your HR initiatives, for your people and culture initiatives. As always, thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.